Glad to have you back. If you're just joining us, you're watching the conversation right here on Lagos Television. Now, the conversation is very simple, and I think it's something all of us pay attention to, because every time you watch, even as you're watching me, there's a director directing every activity right here in the studio. So for an industry that is burgeoning, one of the largest in the world, you have people who churn out, who make sure that this thing appeals to you and, of course, reaches you in the way you really want it to be. Now, as audiences become more discerning and distribution channels expand beyond traditional cinema and DVD market, Nigerian directors are being challenged to innovate, scale production quality, and position local stories for global relevance. The question now is not just about growth, but sustainability, structure, and the future direction of filmmaking in Africa's creative powerhouse. That's our conversation today, the future of film directing in Nigeria. Now, joining me this morning is someone I took over from to lead the children of Israel to the promised land. He just came back from a set, so he's still fresh from directing a movie or a film, as it were. Please make welcome a creative director, Moses Mojeokwu. It's a pleasure to have you join us this morning. Pleasure, Mr. Moses. So my name is Joshua, so you understand the reason why I said I help him. God told him that he can't get there, he can only see. But I, a child of God, I led the children of Israel to the promised land. Anyway, that's our conversation this morning, how to innovate, sustainability, and of course, how to provide some kind of structure. But first, I think the first question that comes to mind is, before we talk about the future, perhaps let's assess now. And that's, how would you assess the current trajectory of film directing in Nigeria, especially within the Nollywood space?
Okay, so I think it's been a progressive one, especially this era of filmic time that we have. We've progressed greatly, and you will see that from the production value, the scale of our productions, and even in terms of our narrations has actually changed. So at this point, in terms of cinema, you don't have more like exaggerated narratives. So you have more of high intellect films being released, and so I would say we've made a lot of change so far, and it's been a long journey, by the way. So now I think the audience the filmmakers have been able to match like the taste of the audience to a great extent.
Okay, what is most interesting to a director? Perhaps let's just dig into it a little bit more as to what you do. What's most interesting to a director? Is it the script that appeals to him? Is it the equipment that he will use to produce, especially with the creative effect he's going to deploy, or a particular message that he's trying to interpret with the film is about to direct? Which one is it? Then maybe I'll now ask you which one appeals to you.
Okay, appeals to me. So I think it's all in one. So what I would just say in summary is, first off, it starts with the story, the idea. Then from there, you now look at the resources you need to bring that idea to light. Then from there, you think of, okay, how technical you want the story to be, or how you want to kind of buttress the points in the story through maybe visual narrations, which is, okay, leading you back to like camera type, the choice of set design that you want to like create with the story. So it's everything. So at the end of the day, you are telling story with each frame. So you are telling story with each frame, from acting, from even costuming. So it's all fits in one.
Okay, which one do you? In fact, let me just get a background to you, because I noticed that you just didn't get into directing. You've done some other stuff. Yeah. So, what was your journey like into directing?
Okay, so my journey into directing started majorly with my background in cinematography. So I started out as a cinematographer, editor as well. Then from there, that led me to directing. So also like directing for me is in like two folds, which is the film aspect and also like in terms of advertising and commercials. So I also directed or I'm directing like commercials as well. So that's kind of my introduction into directing. So it's, you know, most times in filmmaking, you you kind of climb the ladders in terms of roles. So and I experienced every bit of like those processes.
So it makes more sense for you to be a director to understand how what you're capturing will play out during post production
Exactly.
and how you're also going to deploy it.
Yes.
Right, interesting. So, what fundamental shift shaping the future of directing in Nigerian film space?
Okay, in terms of shaping the future, so at this point, directing for me in particular has a lot to do with um, the audience and how you want to make sure like whatever you construct in terms of story resonate with the audience. And in this time and age, you have an audience that has like short
Attention span.
attention span, and you want to make sure that on the first or at the first frame of your film or whatever content they get to engage with, it's something that is meaningful, it's something that is authentic, and it's something that can be relatable. So this is where the future is going, and with the introduction and fast development of AI, so which is also helping filmmakers to like be able to access resources that were not or were difficult to achieve before now. So this is where the future is going now. Everybody can create, can tell meaningful stories, and AI is here to help even the directors to be able to like make content or create films that are very engaging and that can keep people glued.
Trying to decipher what you said is, I think the biggest challenge for a director is knowing how to pass across that message to an audience that is constantly distracted,
Yes.
especially with your first frame, be able to capture the.
Yeah.
So, what would you say is how do you navigate the challenge balancing for before I go to the sustainability part of it, especially how we churn out directors, what kind of skills should they have, and how do you have? I just watched a director recently during the award season. We just finished the award season with the Oscars, the Sinners, and how. So you've just been seeing a lot of snippets and how a director was hyped. The guy that actually directed
Ryan,
with his
right?
wife,
Yes.
So you can see that. So I'll get back to that. That's my final leg of the question. But first, how, as a director, how do you jostle the the challenge of having, how do they call them now? I don't want them to call them actors, talents. Yeah.
Talents, yeah.
How do you handle the talents that you have on set and their nuances, their attitudes? How do you tannate the technical guys that you have on set, your DOP, your everyone that works with your sound guy, especially you are the other back end overseeing this thing. How do you marry? Because sometimes for me it is fascinating looking at the director. It's not as easy. It is sweet when you say I'm the director, yeah, but it's not as easy as it is.
Yeah, it's not easy. So in terms of like marrying all of these different units in production, so I think first off it's something that is founded on your team trusting you. So even from the talent, working with talent, you realize that actors or talent that trust their director the most, they kind of are able to express a level of vulnerability, and that's what actually gets them to um, perform in a way that kind of is original to each character. And when people or when actors become vulnerable at that point, that's when you feel like the texture of the character. You could relate, you could feel their emotions, you could feel their happiness, you could feel certain things in their environment and how they portray it. So the same thing goes with like the technical side or the technical departments, working with the DP, the gaffer, and the rest. So at the end of the day, it's trusting them, trusting you, and you also trusting them that okay, you have the best team, and each person, each stakeholder in the production chain can make the right decisions. And the second point is also like making sure like the team you are working with, they all come with a collaborative energy. So that way, someone that is collaborative minded would always seek to make sure they work in line with whatever will make the production very successful or become very successful.
I like to make this personal because if we talk about speaking in the esoteric language. So, what was the most challenging thing for you directing a movie or a film or an advert? What was the most in your career so far?
Okay, so personally for me, what challenge I feel like is.
You give us a scenario.
Okay, so I will give you the scenario. So some of the challenges to me that like I'm particular about has a lot to do with how authentic is this story that I'm working on? How is the outlook at the end of the day going to be? So I discovered that for each and every day on set, okay, I'm making sure I push myself towards like making sure I achieve it. And sometimes I'll be like, in this take, are we sure we got it? Or if not, if we didn't get it, is there anything that we could have done for it? So I remember like I was on set recently. So there was this particular scene we were working on. So, you know, it's a bit sweet when you're writing. Then when you get on set,
is a
different thing.
Is that not the reason for screenplay?
No, even with screenplay, because screenplay all happens with the imaginations. So, but when you...
Or adapting it to the screen, yes, yeah, adapting it.
Even beyond even going on set, sometimes even when you screenplayed in writing and you want to storyboard it,
yes,
you now realize that if you storyboard it the way it was written or screenplayed, it might not just, the nuances might not just align in the way the story is like directing the audience to. So you need to now change some things to fit what the situation is presently. So I find that, or I found myself like doing that at some points with the actors that we had on set, because at the end of the day, you need to like position yourself to be versatile, one, then to be flexible. At the end of the day, you realize that even in our day-to-day life, there's a bit of flexibility that occur, that it has to be, there's a way each person does things and how it's kind of reflects in the outcomes. So those are things that I feel are more challenging most times.
So with the crop of directors we have, do you think we have the capacity to move the industry forward? You know, we've always had very fantastic directors in Nigeria. Do you think there's this sustainability thing? I mean, ability to maintain that tempo or even scale upwards. Do you think we have that, or are we churning out the right set of directors, in your own opinion?
Okay, so I feel is for the directing unit is something that is evolving, and the speed at which it is evolving is remarkable. So I feel we're churning out the right set of directors, and even like great minds are coming out, and that's one thing that is helping the industry. So I feel we're in a good place at this point and this era. Yeah.
Do you think we have that technical skill too? Because it's one thing to say I'm a director, or maybe because you've learned the art, you watch people do it, you are in the system,
Yeah.
or there's a need for you to formalize it like so many people do. They go to the film school abroad, or the ones we have here. Is there a need for you to be technically sound, or be gifted, or to just be to just learn learn the ropes?
Okay, so first off, is about having the creative mind of like knowing that you want to, like, this is the path you want to follow first.
Okay.
Then, because directing is an art. So even with all the school, you still need to have the art in you, embedded in you first. Then obviously, while you make progress in being creative around this skill, you need to probably go to like film school, whatnot, the ones you can find around you or even
Did you
outside
go for
Nigeria.
it?
Yeah, actually did a film diploma. So it was with a school in India. So so it's a film study, so which kind of teaches you like um, the film history. Then you understand what film truly means, what cinema truly means, and how like narrative can actually change an era or like change perception and all of that.
Okay.
So those are things that also like helped me like build my career to this point. Yeah.
Okay, my final question to you is, are we doing it well in Nigeria as far as the film industry is concerned? And what do you see when you look at your crystal ball? As a director, you know, the director can see the end of the
Yeah.
movie from the beginning.
Okay.
We just watch it, but you have an idea of how it's. What do you see when you look at the film industry?
Okay, so I think like I said earlier, so the industry is a growing one. So there's a lot for us to like actually get to or achieve in the industry. So, but we're getting there, and it takes a lot of like investors coming into this sector, because you realize that film is not actually cheap or a small like business. It's big on its own. So, and if we're contending with the international markets, which is like the Hollywoods and all, we also need to like get great entrepreneurial investment into it, and that way I feel we'll be able to scale it to probably as big as Hollywood is. But
Okay.
for where we are, so I feel we're already in a level that is just for us to take the next step into the film journey, or like capture a lot of things. Yeah.
Honestly, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Who gave you Babatunde?
Babatunde, how do you?
No, anyway. Anyway, we want to say thank you very much, Mr. Moses Mojeokwu, the creative director, joining us this morning to help us navigate the conversation about the future of filmmaking in directing, and the future of filmmaking in Nigeria. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you
for having me. Yeah.
You're welcome. Okay, we'll take a very short break. Joy is standing by, of course. I want to banter. What do I want to banter with? I'm not banter. Joy is standing by. She's got lots to munch on. I'm going to egress the studio for her to enjoy herself with her guests. I think you have like 4 or 5 guests. 4. Oh my God. So we'll take a short break. So much for you to munch on this Eid Fitr celebration day. So we'll be right back. The conversation continues after the break. Don't go anywhere.